Hey, I'm Marco Keach, and I'm here with Sarah Barone, and she's a client over there at Durgrow Performance Training, and she has been absolutely crushing it. She's been there now for, at the time we're talking about 2 years. She's here to share her story and everything she's been through and the results. And so, Sarah, thank you so much for doing this. I really do appreciate it. And what I want to do is I want to basically step back. I want to step back a few years before you were going there. I want you to explain kind of like what you were going through, maybe physically and maybe mentally or emotionally, that kind of got you to the point where you're like, all right, I need to go start, training there.
Yeah, so 2 years ago was a pretty interesting point in my life. My brother was just was put on the heart transplant list, and I was feeling like pretty down. When I was in high school, I was an athlete involved in team sports. Through college, I did intramural sports. After college, did intramural sports, but there was like something missing. And then when this started happening with my family, I just was like, I need to do something. I need that sense of team camaraderie and healthy exercise back in my life. And one of my coworkers was a client of Callie's, and she suggested that I give it a try. So I started out during one of Callie's contest periods. It was supposed to be just for a month, and that was 2 years ago. And I've never looked back. So it's been one of the best decisions I've made in a really long time.
Okay, so it was a combination of you kind of like trying to feel and find some of that competitive spirit, but then also maybe a little bit of kind of scared after what was going through, with the brother and the health stuff, and you're like, maybe, I should move forward with it too?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So how'd you find out about this?
Yeah, so, I'd heard about, the CrossFit craze, and I wasn't that into the idea of as intense as it sounded. And I ended up connecting with one of my coworkers who was getting fit for her wedding. She was looking awesome, and I was just like, what have you been doing? And she told me about Callie and said that she, like me, used to be kind of intimidated by the thought of group exercise, didn't want to be embarrassed in front of a group if she wasn't at the same fitness level of some of the other clients. And she just convinced me that there was no reason to not just try. What's a month? What's a couple classes? Just try. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. So that's pretty much how I heard about Callie. I started going again March of 2012, and yeah, I've never looked back.
Have you tried other gyms or other programs before this? Did you hear me?
Oh, sorry, you dropped out.
Okay, yeah, no, I was wondering, have you tried any other gyms or any other programs before Callie's?
I did intramural sports in college. I belonged to the gym in college. I used to do a couple group fitness classes there, but nothing organized like this ever in my life. So this is definitely the first time I've ever tried anything like this.
Okay, so you went to try it. Tell me about that first initial time when you walked in. Were you nervous? What was going through your mind at that time?
I was really nervous.
Yeah.
There was a lot of different exercises that I'd never heard of before. Over the years preceding me going to work out with Callie, I was pretty much like, give me the Stairmaster, give me the elliptical treadmill, whatever. But they were doing so much strength training stuff that I had just never even attempted doing on my own ever. And I'd never had a coach that had encouraged me to try that either. So I was definitely a little intimidated, and I was really sore. I thought after the first class that I was going to fall down the stairs on my way out the door. But then the next week, it didn't hurt as much. And then the week after that, I could, lift 10 to 15 more pounds than I could when I had first started. So it was definitely I wouldn't say as steep. It was a quick learning curve. That's the best way I can describe it.
Did when you walked in, was the atmosphere and Callie and everybody, did they make you feel, you were nervous, but did they make you feel comfortable right off the bat?
Oh my gosh, yes, so comfortable. My first class with Callie, she introduced herself. She introduced me to all the other clients. Everybody was asking me questions about, who I was, where I worked, where I went to school, where I lived. Just really, it was like you're a part of a sports team again. Everybody was very encouraging. They knew it was my first class, so they kept saying, oh, you did such a great job. You look so strong. You have such great form. Nothing but encouraging. And it was fun. It's always fun when we would do things at the end of a class like prowler pushes or sprints, and everybody literally would just start cheering for each other. And it was unlike any other workout environment I could have ever had on my own, ever.
Did you even expect anything like this when you first went in there?
Absolutely not. I hoped that I would like it, but just the sense of community that she fosters is unparalleled. It's when I tell people, when I try to convince them to come try it out, that's my selling point. Like, it is a training family of, just a there's no reason that you should ever feel nervous about it because no one's there to judge you. They're just there to encourage you and to help you see the best in yourself.
Sounds like it's actually fun too, because training can be kind of like tedious sometimes, but it sounds like it's fun and you're having a great time doing it.
Absolutely. I love going.
Okay. Now the other thing too is it sounds like everybody. It's like not just kind of a community, but like you mentioned a family, but it's also a support group. So I'm thinking, right, if you have a rough day, they'll probably be like, "Hey, is everything okay?" And then come on, let's go. Is it kind of like that too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in that first year that I was going through that stuff with my brother, there was a couple days that I would come to the gym and I would just not be into it. And Callie or one of the other trainers would, sometimes they'd take me aside afterwards and be like, "Hey, like what's going on? Are you okay? I could tell you weren't really yourself today," and I could definitely confide in them. And then what would be great is like they would suggest maybe different exercises that I could be doing to get out more aggression, or just encouraging me that I'm doing the right thing by going in the first place, even on those days when you feel like you're at your worst and the last thing you want to do after working a full day is to go to the gym. Right. Why not go and get that aggression out in a healthy environment with people who are there to support you? There's nothing better.
Okay. Now let's talk about the good part. Let's talk about, you've been there for 2 years as the time that we're talking. So obviously you've had a great time, but you've seen results. Okay. So what types of results have you seen during this time?
Yeah, so I mean, my body is transformed. I've lost 17 pounds of fat and gained 17 pounds of muscle, which is, that's the great thing about going to work out with Callie, is that technically on the scale, I haven't seen that much, but with her help, I can understand what that scale is not telling me. My clothes fit differently. I look different. I get compliments from people all the time. But on the scale, it's exactly the same as it was. So it's amazing. I can flip a 425-pound tire. I mean, like, I'm 5'8", not a strength training crazy person, but I can flip a 425-pound tire on a Thursday night after working a full day of work several times. And I love it. It's I feel stronger. People joke that I'm like the Incredible Hulk at work with the women that I work with. Don't make Sarah angry. You're not going to like her when she's angry. But I love it. So I feel very, very strong, and it's the first time in a really long time that I've been able to say that.
Has it helped you maybe other things too, in terms of, it sounds like maybe energy, right? Because you can go after a long day of work and still flip a tire. So it sounds like your energy levels have also kind of increased. Have they?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, and especially, I mean, I'm also a part-time student. So I work full-time. I go to school part-time a couple nights a week. And I have homework on the days that I'm not going to class. So I have a really full plate, but I have the energy to get through all of it. There'll be days where I'm not at the gym that I'll be at work from 7 to 5, and then I'm at class till 11 at night. But I still look forward to that very next day, still working a full day and going to the gym for, an hour or so after work. And I don't think twice about it. To that point also, I've been sleeping so much better since I've been working out regularly there, which, with a lot of stress between school and personal life and my job, I have a lot of things on my mind, and I used to not sleep very well, and that's not a problem for me anymore.
Wow. So it sounds like it's done a lot for you. So would you say that it's been life-changing? It's changed your life? Absolutely.
I think, yeah, Callie has changed my life. Between diet and exercise, it's not something that I grew up being educated about from my parents.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of health problems in my family, from cancer to arthritis, osteoporosis, heart disease. Like, I've seen all of it. And I firmly believe that every day that I go to work out with Callie is another good day that I'm adding on to the end of my life. So instead of 25 or 35 or 40 good years, I could have 60 good years left.
Wow.
60 active good years. Okay. And that's the foundation that Callie's helping me to build every time I go to her gym.
Okay. Now, let's say someone sees this and they're thinking about signing up. They want to go there. They're interested, but they're on the fence. They're not 100% sure. What would you want to say to somebody who's on the fence?
There is no reason that you shouldn't at least try. Especially with Callie, she has her 21 days for $21 trial. Take a week of what you would spend at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, take that money, set it aside, and invest it in yourself. If not for yourself today, your future self. And there's no, sometimes you hear about gyms and there's a barrier to try, a barrier to emotionally, or, oh, I can't do it, I don't know. It's the best decision you will ever make for yourself in your whole life. Just try it.
Okay. All right, and I got a few more questions for you. I just want to shift gears. I want to talk a little bit about Callie and the trainers. So let's talk about the trainers. There's a couple different trainers there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just describe, the trainers. You don't have to go individually with each one, but maybe kind of generalize in terms of what type of trainers and type of people they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's 3 different trainers that I have worked out with since working with Callie, and they each definitely fill their own kind of bucket. There's certain trainers that you'll go work out with that will push you to your limits. So there's been times where I'll be lifting, a certain amount of weight, and a trainer will look at me and see me, and they'll say, "Sarah, is that heavy enough for you?" And I'll be like, "No, probably not." So they push you. They help you really figure out what your limits are. Then you'll have other trainers that are really just there to understand your form. How is your body feeling? Is your technique as good as it could be? Is there other things that you could be doing with your posture? Very conscious of your entire body. And then you have other trainers that are just very innovative. I have a bad knee, and so sometimes with some of the exercises, I need help figuring out what else I can be doing to be working those same muscles in a different fashion. Mm-hmm. And there is an endless list of different things that I can be doing, and they're there to give me that one-on-one attention to help me get the most out of every training session, regardless of what limitations I may have in certain areas.
Okay. And then what type of person is Callie? She's done the training stuff, she runs the business, but as a person, as a human being, give me a few words or phrases that describe who she is.
I would say that she is the most incredible small business owner I've ever met in my entire life. I work with small business owners in my job, and she's inspiring. She's inspiring to her clients. She is thought-provoking in terms of how you can be finding the best in yourself, mm-hmm. Encouraging you to think about yourself in a different way than you would naturally. I would also say that Callie is... I would say that she is, I know she's a lifesaver. She's saving the life of every single person that works out with her. And she's very understanding of your good days and your bad days. And, just nothing but positive, but also forceful and not letting you slack off because she knows what you're capable of and she'll help you get there.
Okay. And then the last question that I have for you is, she's obviously done a lot for you. You mentioned, right? She's changed your life. She's done so many different things, not just for you, but for a lot of other people. Let's say that she decided to, close the doors and move away, and you lost all the contact information, right? You could never email her, call her, text her ever again, and this is the last time you could ever say anything to her. Knowing it's the last time, what would you want to say to her?
I don't think that there's enough thank yous in the world that have ever been said that can really convey and express how grateful I am for what she's done for me. She has taught me that I can expect more of myself, that I should expect more of myself, and then she's given me the foundation to find who that better person is, emotionally, physically, and that those two things don't need to be two separate things, that's who you are, and you need to give as much attention to both aspects of your life. And you can do that through exercise, you can do that through diet, you can do that through just bettering your personal relationships, but being in tune to that fact is something that I could never say enough thank yous for to Callie for helping me to get to that point.
Very, very inspiring story. Very, very interesting to hear where you've come from, where you are now, and obviously I can tell it's something that you love, and I know you're going to continue with it, and I want to wish you the best of luck with everything going forward.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
You too.